Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game. This game is based off the cult classic movie from 1988 of the same name, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. So as expected, it's a horror game that takes plenty of elements from the movie in order to stay faithful to the source material. But what kind of game is this? Let's dive into the gameplay and find out. The gameplay of Killer Klowns is easily described as similar to Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th. Specifically, the game is a multiplayer experience that puts players on two separate teams, one team of 3 clowns and another team of 7 humans. As you'd expect, the clowns hunt the humans while the humans are attempting to escape and evade the clowns. Humans have a few different ways to escape, ranging from a portal or bomb shelter to a boat or a simple gate. The team of humans must work together to fulfill the requirements for an exit and escape, but not everyone can exit the same way, so multiple exits will need to be worked towards. Conversely, the team of 3 clowns are attempting to stop the humans. This means finding them and killing them, but it won't be that simple regardless of all the tools you are given. Clowns have abilities like a cotton candy ray gun, hammer, and ability to teleport around the map, but humans can hide, fight back, and stun clowns, or even revive dead teammates. The game is over when time runs out or all humans escape the clowns. Playing into the 80s horror movie tropes, this game is wacky and full of camp, but how is the story? The story is simple and takes notes from the movie. Killer Klowns from Outer Space have invaded the town and are rounding up the humans to kill them. Any survivors are forced to do what is necessary to escape the clutches of the Killer Klowns. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? Man, what a game that speaks to my inner horror fan, because I love this original movie. It's one of my all-time classic kind of horror films. You know, it's all about just these killer clowns that come out of nowhere from space and start just destroying a town. Like that's just a wacky concept. And I think that they really did a really good job with, translating it from the movie to a game while still getting the same feel that the movie gives, where it's just wacky, it's campy, and that's the whole point.
I'm with you, HenricK. I've never seen this campy horror flick to this day. You know, Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
I recommend it.
No, I'm with you because after playing the official game, I'm ready to go grab some popcorn and finally witness this circus of chaos on the big screen. But I do have to kind of joke with you, HenricK. I know that you're a big movie, horror fanatic, but this supposed cult classic that I'm just now figuring out or hearing about because this became an official game is so forgotten that playing the game feels like wandering through a fog as Harry Mason in Silent Hill. You get lost, you're confused, and you're wondering if anyone else even remembers it exists. It's just like the movie.
Hey, there was a maze of this at Horror Nights last year, so I'm sure people remember. Maybe not everyone who didn't, keep up with horror
but that's
films,
the thing, though, HenricK. I'm a wuss. I do not participate in those kind of things no more. You will not see me participating at any Universal Horror or Not Scary Farm anytime soon. I've lived those glory days when I was a young wee lad, but I think it's appropriate for me now to just stay off really high roller coasters and very scary atmospheres. But I don't know about you, HenricK. I mean, did you get that kind of like horror out of this game or more of a thrill?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's really like you go into this expecting to be scared. It's more of a game that's all about collaborating with your teammates more than anything else. I mean, the setting is really secondary to that at the end of the day. And if you're not having a whole lot of fun, if you feel like the gameplay is a little annoying, you keep dying to the clowns, or you keep getting bullied by the humans, I think that's a skill issue at the end of the day, because you're really not supposed to be out there alone. You're supposed to be working with your teammates, regardless of whether you're with the clowns or the humans. You're not supposed to be alone. You know what happens in horror films when you're alone, right? You die.
That's true, but even with its original spin on a movie license in an oversaturated genre, I might add, this game feels like a clown at a kid's party. It might be colorful, trying its best to entertain, but ultimately leaving everyone wondering, I don't know about you, Henrik, but at least for myself, when the magician will show up to the party. Because the game's idea of thrill keeps players constantly on their toes, because that is the key feature about this game. Players are always doing something. And I think that's when, when it comes to the horror aspect, it's just as elusive as finding out a coherent plot in a B horror movie, just like Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
That's the point. That's the whole point of that genre, though. Like, there's not supposed to be a good plot because it's not meant that way. It's meant to just be fun. Like how an action movie is fun. You go to it. You don't go to see a Mission Impossible movie for the plot. You go there to see Tom Cruise be Tom
Okay.
Cruise, You
Okay,
go to see
fair
a horror
enough.
film like this or play a game like this to experience it being a horror film that makes no sense at all.
Okay, fair enough, and I hear you, but the game, I would argue, is like trying to catch a ghost with a butterfly net. It doesn't hold up, especially if we're going to start, comparing this game with the oversaturated genre, which brings the likes of iconic video game titles like Dead by Daylight. I just don't see this game holding up to contention with that game. And for me, the thrill and the horror of it all died very fast. Just like how I must be the first guy to die in every horror film, supposedly. I'm finding that out about myself right now as we're speaking. So, with my verdict, I'm calling a pause on Killer Klowns from Outer Space. But if you are a horror fan or just into these kind of style of video games like Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th, this might be refreshing for you. But for myself, it's a pause. How about yourself, HenricK the Wreck?
Yeah, I have to agree when it comes to you talking about the oversaturation because, yeah, definitely this is a game that's in competition with the giant that is Dead by Daylight, with so many different iconic horror franchises working with that one. It's
Yeah.
much more tempting to go to that rather than this because why would you limit yourself in that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, the fact of typically when people pick a game to play, they pick a game that has a good amount of people playing it, and there's not going to be that many people playing this game after probably a few months compared to Dead by Daylight. That's going to be around. Now, I will say they can make it work if they keep putting out updates, but how long is that going to happen? It's not really
Yeah.
expected from a game like this. It's kind of just like a party gimmick in a way, almost. Like a one night stand for the game of the week between the group. But
No, I'm with you. I do think you're right. It does need updates, but it does need the support of, a cloud gaming service as well.
mm,
Because I don't personally believe people are going to be willing to want to spend the money, for the full price right now and to want to let this game longevity live out instead of dying as the first victim in a horror film. You might
well,
want to
maybe
consider that.
if they don't put this on a cloud service of some sort to entice more people to play it, maybe several months down the road, it won't be anytime soon, but like several months down the road, if they see a decline in player count, they might do something like make it free to play, or at least in some respect free to play. Maybe free to
Yeah,
try,
but that
and then you'll
opens
have
up
to
the
unlock
doors for
things.
season passes and
Yeah,
all
but
that
but
kind
it
of
would it
stuff. And
would get more people to actually play the game because there's less of the barrier to entry of, oh man, I have to pay money to even try this. Come on, I don't want to do that.
try lending that kind of same advice to Rocksteady Studios.
Oh,
Suicide Squad killed the
too
Justice League.
soon, too soon.
It literally killed the whole presence, of that
Yeah, you're
entire
right.
iconic IP that could have been something so freaking awesome, but is not. But hey, guys, you heard it from us. It is definitely a pause for Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game, but we want to
Yeah,
hear from
I want
you
it to be
gamers.
a repeat. I do, I really do, but I just feel like for the majority of people, it's not going to be the game to choose, and that's why it's a pause.